And the eyes of the blind will be opened, and the ears of the deaf unstopped. For Adonai has poured out on you a spirit of a deep sleep. He has shut your eyes, O prophets. He has covered your heads, O seers. In the reading of Zechariah, we were sold to the best shepherd. You ever notice how the Pope always has a shepherd's staff? It tells you right here, sheep asleep. And if you look at the altar, St. Peter is a sleeping sheep, and there's a light in the middle of the forehead, the pineal gland, the seat of the throne of Yah, and that is the Luciferian light, Lucifer's light. I explained this before. 2012 in the Mayan calendar is the 13-month creator's calendar. That is 2020 in the Gregorian calendar. That's when the Ruach has returned back to her children. That's why 2020 is referred to perfect vision. 2020, well, that's the same thing. 2020, the year 2020, is when we were opened our eyes to see the truth, spiritual truth. Day the deaf will hear the words of the scroll, and out of the deep darkness the eyes of the blind will see. This is in the reading of Daniel. This is when our books were sealed to us. And those who are wise, the people of Yah, shall shine as brightly as the sun's brilliance. And those who turn many to righteousness will glitter like stars forever. But Daniel, keep the prophecy a secret. Seal it up so that it will not be understood until the end times, when travel and education should be vastly increased. So this is when the books were sealed during Daniel's time. And I covered reincarnation before because there is reincarnation. They just don't want you to know about it. But go on now to the end of your life and your rest, for you will rise again and have your full share of those last days. You see, because Daniel is being born again. He's here because it's his judgment time. Scripture tells you that blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Because just like the days of Noah, he is destroying all the evil of the world, and the meek will be the last ones remaining to start over for the last time. This is in the reading of Isaiah 29. This is when he put us to deep sleep. Year after year, you make yourself many offerings, but I will send heavy judgment upon you. And there will be weeping and sorrow for Jerusalem. By the way, that's in Utah. Shall become as her name. Ariel means an altar covered with blood. And I will be your enemy. And I will surround Jerusalem and lay siege against it, and build forts around it to destroy it. Your voice will whisper like a ghost from the earth where you lie buried. But suddenly your ruthless enemies will be driven away like chaff before the wind. In an instant, I, the Lord of hosts, will come upon them with thunder, earthquake, whirlwind, and fire. That's what's happening right now. And all the nations fighting Jerusalem will vanish like a dream. As a hungry man dreams of eating, but is still hungry. As a thirsty man drinks of drinking, but is still faint from the thirst when he wakes up. So your enemies will dream of victorious conquest, but all to no avail. Then go ahead and be blind if you must. You are stupid, and not from drinking either, stagger, and not from wine, for Adonai has poured out upon you a spirit of deep sleep. He has closed the eyes of your prophets and seers. So all of these future events, are a sealed book to them. You see, this is when he sealed our books. When you give it to one of them who can't read, he says, I cannot, for it is sealed. When you give it to another, he says, sorry, I cannot read. Soon it will not be very long. The wilderness of Lebanon will be a fruitful field again, a lush and fertile forest. In that day the deaf will hear the words of the book, and out of the gloom and darkness the blind will see my plans. The meek will be filled with fresh joy for Adonai, and the poor shall exult in the Holy One of Jasharel. Bullies will banish, the scoffers will cease, and all those plotting evils will be killed. The violent man who fights at the drop of a hat, the man who waits in hiding to beat up the judge, who sentences, the men who use any excuse to be unfair. So you see, the wicked is being purged from the land. That is why Adonai, who redeemed Abraham, says, my people will no longer pale with fear or be ashamed. For when they see the surging birth rates and the expanding economy, then they will fear and rejoice in my name and praise the Holy One of Joshua and stand in awe of him. Those in error will believe the truth, and the complainers will be willing to be taught. The eyes of the blind will be open and the ears of the deaf unsealed. It's not how the world gives it to you like Elon Musk is giving it to you. He's speaking about spiritual eyes and ears. Two books, there's a book of life and there's a book of death. So everybody's here right now to receive their judgment. And I saw the dead, great and small, standing before the throne, and books were open. Another book was open, which is the book of life. The dead were judged according to what they have done as recorded in the books. Another thing, the rapture was given to you by Jesuit priests. There's no such thing as the rapture. It's going to be like the days of Noah. There's going to be a gathering of his people, and everybody that is wicked is going to be purged from the land. That's your judgment. That's what people are being judged right now. You're either being judged to go into slavery when Russia and China comes here, death, or you're going to be in the book of life. Okay? So there's no such thing as rapture. And especially because it was the Christians and the Catholic Church, they killed the saints of Yah. So I don't know how you think you're going to be raptured out of here from judgment. I don't understand that. Reading a Revelation, the fall of Babylon. And after this I saw another angel coming down from heaven, having great authority, and the earth was made with its glory. And he called out with a mighty voice, Fallen, fallen is Babylon the great. She has become a dwelling place of demons, a haunt for every unclean spirit, a haunt for every unclean bird, a haunt for every unclean detestable beast. For all nations have drunk the wine of the passion of her sexual immorality, and the kings of the earth have committed immorality with her, and the merchants of the earth have grown rich from the power of her luxurious living. Then I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, lest you take part in her sins, lest you share in her plagues. For her sins are heaped high as heaven, and Yah has remembered her iniquities. Pay her back as she herself hath paid back others, and repay her double for her deeds. Mix a double portion of her in the cup she mixed as she glorified herself and lived in luxury. So this is a double portion of the bitter cup. So give her like a measure of torment and mourning, since in her heart she says, I sit as a queen, I am no widow, and mourning I shall never see. The first plague of many was released when 2020, the year of perfect vision, when the world returned back to her children, and Dr. Fauci happens to be a Jesuit priest, a Jesuit. And as you can see right there, Jesuit, the poison cup.